can actually call in and have this conversation. So, hey everybody, I'm Destin. I am the host of Fireteam Chat. A lot of you know me from Fireteam Chat, and I wanted to talk about this Go Fast update. I came home after work and I kind of put it all on the page. So this is very just stream of consciousness on the page, but I believe I've formulated my arguments well. So here we go. The Destiny 2 Go Fast update is not enough to win you back. Actually, nothing Bungie will do to Destiny 2 is going to be revolutionary enough to win you back in the next year. If you have it in your head that this is a dead game, if you decided that Bungie is the devil and they only want your money and don't care about you, they don't care about making a good game or making a fun game, then this update is not for you and you shouldn't be playing the game, period. Why are you here? Vote with your wallet and tell them how you feel. You have done that. You've done it. To the rest of you who have hope and are still waiting for a good reason to come back, this is an additional brick in the wall of content that Bungie is building up towards their substantial re-release in the fall. That said, it does not change enough about the core experience to lure in old players with a revamped sandbox. But remember, this is all building towards something. To date, here are 4 or so of the most substantial items that they've changed. Nightfalls are no longer timed, but have modifiers and scores. Vendors now have purchasable gear for meeting criteria. You know, like you do turn in X engrams, you can buy stuff at Lord Shaxx, for example. Armor now have masterwork variations. 6v6 Rumble is back. More supers, heavy, and more abilities across the board. And Trials is going to turn PvP tracker off. That's what we have today. That is what they have adjusted from launch. That is off the top of my head. If they don't deserve another chance, Romulo, why are you playing? Don't give them another chance. Why are you so angry? Why is everybody so mad? What did Bungie do? They gave you 200 hours of gameplay? What did I do? I get that you're angry. I get that you want a better game. I get that you want those friendships back. I don't understand why it's like, F them. They hurt me. I don't get that. Anyway, back to my rant. In May, we'll receive a new DLC story-focused content drop featuring Rasputin, as well as Prestige mode for Eater of Worlds, Raid Lair, private matches, exotic weapon, plus armor sandbox changes, and faction rally improvements. With all that in mind, what's the core of how Destiny has lost its magic for people like the person I was just addressing in chat? Well, I can explain it to you by looking at 4 randomly chosen weapons from my Destiny 1 vault. No Land Beyond was the first one that I got. It is an exotic bolt-action sniper rifle from Destiny 1. Not only was this used by high-level players as an added challenge for themselves originally, it actually became sort of viable later, but it eventually became part of the meta and players were able to make creative builds that allowed them to maximize the use of this otherwise fairly uninteresting weapon. It did look visually unique, but yeah. All right. Quantaplasm, the raid shotgun from Wrath of the Machine. Earned only by those brave enough to take on Wrath against the Machine, this shotgun was only semi-remarkable because of its armor perk. So why was it mostly forgettable? Because it had a locked loadout. Once you got it, you had it. It was infusion fuel, but it did have a few interesting items design-wise. Once it was fully upgraded, its visual aesthetics actually change. And 2, it was great for completionists looking to flesh out their overall collection. But you know why you don't remember getting it? Because you got it once and you didn't care, as it had no in-game value, be it damage, lore, etc. So that said, let me play devil's advocate here and talk about another locked loadout item that was interesting. The Vanquisher 8. This was an assault rifle from back in vanilla Destiny that you could purchase from New Monarchy. This was a time when the rate of fire and stability of an assault rifle actually made the difference between life and death. So for a while, this and Shadow Price were actually viable options. I believe it was actually Vanquisher 7. I just happened to get Vanquisher 8, which was the next one. By then, ARs had been nerfed. Anyway, This and shadow price for viable options. In addition, you earned it by pledging alliance to a faction. So you loop into this overall concept of faction alliance, which you could continually build up, get uniquely interesting gear for. Each season, also, everything changed. So you could get new stuff, and you could figure out if you wanted to change alliance, etc. So what happened to it? Well, a new meta took over, the Thorn Last Word era, but that was okay. Assault rifles had their day. It was time to change up the sandbox and see where things settled. Runewake, to be totally frank, this wasn't random. This is my favorite machine gun. First up, there is no good reason we don't have machine guns. Bring them back. Not only did Runewake have random rolls, but it could tear apart your enemies in PvP and was a viable option in the raid. I know because I used it for a year once I got a god roll with a quick reload option in the raid. An empty clip, you would empty the clip out and out DPS my team regularly with a black spindle as my secondary. It looks ugly, I know, go Seahawks, but it could wreck. There was a chase. There was functionality, and in the right hands, it could wreck shop. Who remembers Runewake? Does anybody? I'm not saying we need random rolls. I'm expressing reasons it worked and reasons it didn't. I did two things with random rolls, one where it didn't work, one where it did. By the way, No Land Beyond locked loadout, and people still used it. I'm going to get to the whole loadout problem in just a second. I'm going to get to the locked loadout problem in a second. Anyway, there was a chase with Runewake, there was functionality, and in the right hands, it could wreck shop. Most people would use Galley or some other heavy in its place, but I made my choice for the DPS of Spindle with the power of a sustained heavy weapon emptying clips into my opponent's faces. I loved it in PvP. It was fun. And that's exactly what Destiny 2 needs. It needs a chase. It needs an option. It needs player choice, not Bungie choice. It needs player choices. There are no other options in PvP or PvE. There is an archetype, and everything in that archetype is the same. There are only one or two ways to maximize DPS in Destiny 2, and that makes for a boring chase without alternative options in all player avenues. So will this update save the game? No, because the problem with Destiny 2 is systemic. The weapons don't have lore. There are no varied options for loadouts. There are no more experiments or secrets to dig into, be it hitting ghosts, raid secrets, or DPS strategies. We know all the answers that Destiny 2 has to our questions. That's why your player base is declining. It's not fun to collect things you don't really want. If I have one assault rifle of the best archetype, I don't need another one. I don't need another one. I have my one assault rifle. I have it. I'm done. I've beaten the assault rifle archetype. I have the best one that I need. It doesn't matter after that. That's the problem. In addition, there's no challenge to teach us how to use a new weapon or force us to change out our gear sets because, again, we've solved all the mysteries. Hammers, War Rig, assault rifles, and rockets win PvE. That's how you win. Maybe Merciless. Maybe you switch to Merciless. Far Cry 5 is great, chat. I'm really digging Far Cry 5. When Bungie remembers that people came here to chat with friends while zoning out for the 200-ish dead ghosts, which maybe your buddy knew all the locations of, that's when people will come back. Your buddy feels like he's helping you. You're happy because you're finishing out an achievement or completing your book. When PvP has enough variation to give you something interesting to chase in PvE or trials that you can take back into the Crucible, people will feel compelled to come back. Do you remember what it felt like in trials to have a full trial set? You had to earn it. And don't give it to me in an engram from Hawthorne for doing F all. Make me earn it. Make me yell at the effing screen because I got knocked out of trials on the last win because I was up against the team better than I was and not because they were a better hacker. And I use the term hacker very lightly. To wrap it up, what do I think about the update? It's Bungie releasing 7 pieces of a 500-piece puzzle that we're not going to be able to complete until the end of this year or next. Destiny 2 does not have the magic of Destiny 1, and it never will, and it's because of how they built the engine. So if you want to pass time while Bungie works on fixing the game for us and for them, then let's hop into some 6v6 Rumble and try to have a good time. Let's chase after those unique Nightfall rewards for now and come back for each update as they release. But for the love of all things beneath the Traveler, please stop thinking that every update is make or break for the studio or the franchise. A Destiny 3 will come. We've seen the contracts, and they will learn from their mistakes. These are developers who actually give a shit as much as you want to think they're the devil. They are going to learn from these mistakes. They want to make a better game from you. Why would they want to make a shitty game? They don't. That's the answer. It's fine if you want to bow out for now. If you think they're the devil and you don't want to play anymore, then stop fucking playing. I appreciate the support on the channel. That is awesome. It is awesome that you guys like us enough to keep coming back, keep checking out what we're doing. But I'm going to keep checking in on Destiny. When something substantial hits, I am going to tell you. If it is interesting enough, I will tell you, hey, this is pretty cool. You should pay attention. Anyway, that's everything that I wrote. That's everything that I wrote.